Hello, great brethren. How you guys doing today? So, yeah, tried the live stream. We'll probably do a live stream this week, but we tried to get this up on live stream, so it just didn't work out today. So let's get into it. Hello, great brethren. How you doing today? We got some brief articles, and this is for my brothers that serve. Salute to you in the military. This is a little bit of history, so. Next month, descendants of the Florida Seminoles and their black allies would gather in a cemetery near Texas, Mexico border to commemorate the heritage of the black Seminole Western tribes called the Buffalo Soldiers. Now, good article. So this talks about a little bit of the origin of your so-called black native indigenous Floridians, specifically the Seminoles, who, coincidentally, Andrew Jackson could not stand. And he wrote many times how he couldn't stand the so-called black Seminoles. So, now you must take into effect this guy is writing a book about so-called Native Indigenous, and he calls them African Americans. So just we'll look over this intentional misstatement. So the story of the Black Seminoles in the West begins in Florida. Here we go, Africans. And actually, the history goes back beyond 400 years. Began the Spanish exploration of the coast in St. John's River. So this is a very good article. I'm not going to spend too much time in this article, but it talks about the Mexican Civil War, which the Black Seminoles migrated across Rio Grande when slavery ended. That is true. The moves were encouraged by the U.S. government, which is also true. And they wanted the Seminoles and the Black Seminoles to prevent raids into Texas, and they became Black Seminole Scouts. The Black Seminoles, who became famed Buffalo Soldiers of the Western frontier, insisted that the Army said they would be given their land in return for military service, but no such documents have surfaced. So remember what we talked about, the breaching of contracts. So this is one of those things. In 1873, the Scouts were given to John Bullis, writes Katrina Wittich in the 2000 research paper, the Massasogas and the Native Americans and so there we go, African American Mexicans would spend the next 10 years as a major force of eradication of Indian bandits. So in Texas, every commander who worked with the Scouts praised them for their courage and their skills, and they worked most closely with them, most vehement to their protests and the abandonment and mistreatment of the Massasogs and the U.S. government. They served valiantly in a number of capacities and were disbanded in 1914. Okay, so they're invaluable service to the U.S. Army and citizens of Texas. Okay, so that's that. So what do they look like? Well, there it is. This is your so-called black Seminole. Look at his head garb and headband. Okay, and he has the musket, the rifle. Okay, and let's get into this article. So the Gullah, Rice Slavery, Sierra Leone, Joseph Opala. The Black Seminoles were a small offshoot of the Gullah who escaped from the rice plantations South Carolina and Georgia. The Gullahs were actually indigenous to South Carolina, but let's get into this article. They scattered across North America. They played a significant role in American history. So this is Abraham, a black Seminole leader in the Second Seminole War. The Indians call him Sona Tuscate, a title indicating membership in the highest of the three ranks of war leadership. He is wearing typical Seminole dress and holding a rifle. There you go. Some Gullahs escaped from South Carolina and Georgia. And by the way, there was actually white slaves in Georgia. They came over thanks to Oglethorpe, who was a prison reformist, who wanted the prisoners of England and Wales and Ireland to have fair treatment. So he sent them over as slave labor along with John Locke. People don't want to hear this, but it is what it is. Okay. And you can read that in the White Trash book, written by Isenberg, I want to say. They only used as a buffer between the British colonies and their settled territories further south. They wanted to keep Florida as a dangerous wilderness frontier, so they offered a refuge to escape slaves. Okay, the Gullists were established their own free settlements in Florida wilderness in 1870. Well, 1700, excuse me. Wow. So, modern historians have called these Free Gullah frontiersmen the Black Seminoles. Incorrect. They were actually Gullah, but we'll go with that. The Seminole settlements in Spanish Florida increased as more and more runaway slaves and renegade Indians, that would be Black Indians. And you guys want to read about Black Indians. You've got Black Indians, Hidden Heritage by Katz, William, Loren. Long book. Okay, very long. All right, let's get back to the article. So Andrew Jackson led a American army in Florida, United States, and finally erupted. The blacks and Indians fought side by side. Well, they were all Indians, but he didn't like the native indigenous. And they had a full-scale guerrilla warfare that lasted 6 years and claimed 1,500 soldiers. All right. And they were sent to Oklahoma. Okay. And put under the Creek Indians. All right. But Creeks, they had so-called Black Creeks. Some escaped to Mexico. All right. They remained in Mexico and protected their settlement from the marauding Comanche and Apache Indians. And they joined the army and became Indian Scouts. And that is correct. And they won Medal of Honor. So let's go into this next article. And here it is. A former cavalry post in 1852, deactivated in 1947, Fort Clark Springs, a private resort. And this is it was a guardhouse that many Black Seminoles who fought in the army, that's where they served. Fort Clark Barracks in Texas. All right. So, Seminole Negro Indian Scouts and Black troops of the 10th Cavalry. And eventually you have the establishment of the Buffalo Soldiers from the 10th Cavalry, 24th, 25th Infantry. All right. There's a little placard. This is on the Buffalo Soldiers. Okay. The 9th U.S. Cavalry. You don't know. We don't know who this guy is, but, you know, unidentified Buffalo Soldier. And I'll link this article. This is from NPS for your viewing pleasure. And this is the last one. And this is Texas.gov. Has a lot of info in here. So we go to 28. So here we go. And here's your Buffalo Soldiers. Different fort information from Abilene to Albany to Menard. And it's interesting. So Buffalo Soldiers used Fort McCarver during the Indian Wars. All right. So there you go. Peace, bros.